Hello everyone, I'm going to do a quick summary on finding flip properties. I'm going to be using the shared spreadsheet that we have, and to have access to this, everyone had requested that permissions be given to individuals that are on it rather than anonymous access. And so if you don't have access to this sheet, please see me, but everyone who was in the last training, I had added you. And so if you see your name or your picture there, then you're on it. If not, just go ahead and message me, and then I'll get you onto this sheet as well. So this is a shared sheet where we're just going to go ahead and place our best finds, and just let everyone in our community just win from that. I know there's some thinking that, I'm going to take from my client, and I'm not going to have them have the best opportunity to get the properties because I'm going to compete with agents within our own company. And the reality is this: there's so many competing for this already, and you have to act faster and learn from each other. Otherwise, you're not going to even have your fair share. Just to put some perspective on this, the number of closed sales in January of 2015 is only 1/6 the amount that it was in January 2014. And if you're new to this flip environment in this world, you have to learn faster. So I would encourage you to go ahead and share openly and discuss, tactics and strategies that are working for you, and that we make each other better. And that's our culture anyway. iNet's culture is that, and so I encourage you to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just take us through a process from soup to nuts, finding some properties, and then going ahead and just filling it out on this sheet. And you'll find that it's pretty easy, not as difficult as it should be. I'll talk about some basic rudimentary Windows things as I'm doing it, and I believe that it's easiest to do this if you have a bigger screen. I've shrunken down my screen so I can cast this, and if you have multiple monitors. But in this case I won't, and so I'm going to do it on a smaller screen and one monitor, and so I'll have to deal with those challenges. Anyway, I'm going to first jump to Basecamp, and I'm in the Buyer's Agent program, and you can find what I'm looking for where it says here's your flip cheat sheet, or in the file section. And again, every time there's something new, it won't necessarily be in this top corner. You'll have to search for it through more files, but it's going to say flip cheat sheet, and I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go ahead and look at a city that I might be interested in doing my research on. And so let's see, I'll go for, I don't know, let me look for, how about Ontario? So I'm going to look for Ontario, and this is the property I'm going to be searching for. So there's my cheat sheet, and that's what I'm going to shoot for. So I'm going to go right into the MLS, residential detail search, and I'm going to go ahead, active, single family, and the city is Ontario. And now I have Ontario. Now the first data point on my cheat sheet will be the price point. So I'm looking for properties up to 277. I can round it up 288. So 0 to 288. And for active properties, there's not a lot. There's only about 16 properties that match this. Okay, so not a lot of properties there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is look for the price per square foot at 196.34. So 196, I'll round up 197. I'm going to scroll down, price per square foot, and I'm going to 0 to 197. And I'm going to see there's 3 matches. And go ahead and click on this and see if any of these are good ones for me. So what I like to do typically is sort by the price here, and it looks like it's already sorted. I'm going to go through each property. And so this first property, I'm just taking a quick look just to see if it's a candidate property. The first thing I'm looking at is 259. I'll jump into the APN and see if I have anything that would substantiate a price that's better than 259. Again, don't use this as your final form. I don't see that. I'm going to skip it for now. I mean, I could do more research and find out that it is a good property. Also, if you go back, you'll see there's 126 days in the market. There's another reason I know that probably not the case. It's 12 days on the market, short sale, 272. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. What's interesting, you'll see that it was 230 before that, so they raised their price. And so they probably had a lower price, maybe a bait price, and then later moved it up because of the offers that were coming in. And at 272, this could be a likely candidate property. I might treat it as such. I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to look at the third one. And the third property I'm seeing is, let's see, sorry for the slow internet. Okay, good. And so this third one is at 280 and 67 days. I'm going to go as notice of default. I'm going to click on this. And again, I'm just looking to substantiate if this could be a candidate property. So I'm looking at this, 280, and it's too close. So 1 out of 3, not bad. And if I had a faster connection, it would have been really fast. One really cool thing to do, just to check to see am I on the mark on finding good properties, is I went back to the search criteria. Instead of active, I'm going to look for pending and backup offers. The reason I'm doing that is that many times in the two categories that you've heard me talk about, where there's the obvious category and it's usually price sensitive, and the not so obvious, which is some other factor that causes it to be an opportunity for you to acquire. In the obvious category, many times you just have to act very quickly. And so this is with taking into account that maybe we've missed the chance at properties that were good flips just because I just did the search today when there could have been things that had happened prior to that. So I'm going to click on results. I'm going to go back to the agent one line. I just want to make sure that what I also like to do is just to see more. I'm going to go ahead and say 50 at a time, and I want to make sure that I'm sorted, and it looks like it is, by the list price. I'm just going to go one at a time. Again, what I'm looking at is just to confirm, is my search on target for finding good properties to flip. So here's a property, 111 days short sale, and this is something that's a pending sale, and 100,000. And you see here that if I could substantiate its value, that okay, not enough for me to get excited about that. So I'm going to go next. That's one. So on the second one, 140, and 2 days. It was 2 days in the market. It's pending sale. And at 140, I'm going to look at something. Okay, again, not enough to get excited about. So far, I'm not seeing things that are really exciting me about just Ontario in general. 150, I'm going to click on this, and come back here and see that it's a general. It says general office building, so I'm not going to get comps this way. And so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So 165. Let me click on this. And okay, that's a potential. So really out of the 3, because one was an office building, maybe 1 out of 3. So I might be okay with this type of search. So I'm going to go back to the criteria, and I'm going to go back to the active. And I know that the second one, it looked like it was a candidate property. So let's treat it as such. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the second property and go back to have the information here. Now I'm going to just start treating it as a candidate property. So the key for me is to start to transfer the information to the shared sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and copy the MLS. And what I did is I just double clicked the MLS. I went to the sheet here, and you're going to see me toggling back and forth here. And I just go Control V. So I went Control C, I double click, Control C, copy, Control V, and that's how I pasted it there. I'm going to look for these data points. So I come back here, I'm looking for the average. Where do I find the average? Right here, where it says real AVM, that's the average, 341. I just need to round up. I find it easier to type it. And I'm going to go for the confidence score. And the confidence score is 83. And we talked about what that confidence score is and what it means. Then I want to look for the low and the high. Again, this is just to give me perspective. 307, 330, 375. So 307 and 375 would be the low and the high. And then I want to look at the Zillow. And Zillow, again, is just another reference. I want to find out, is there anything that substantiates that? So I can find that by going to Zillow.com. And the easiest way that I find to do this is I come back to here and I go copy. I highlight the address and I go right to Zillow and I paste it. And I wait for its estimate. Again, don't trust this as your final source, only as a reference. And I have 308. So I just want to type 308 for the Zillow comp. So I'm at 308. And here's the comparables. And the way you get to that is you go back to the real list and you go comparables. And again, you want to do this as fast as you can. When this is already preloaded, it's a lot faster. And then you look for the number in the top right-hand corner. You don't always get one. In this case, we did. It's 352. So that's the number I'm going to put in. So 352. And, thank you for Priscilla pointing this out. The RPR is another great resource. And so I added that to it. And so, again, I don't want to resource you to death, but, do what you feels comfortable. How I'm going to get there is I'm going to go ahead and go to the links tab. How I open that is I hit Control and click Links, and you're going to scroll down here, and you're going to see where it says Realtors Property Resources, which is their name for it, and it's called RPR. I'm going to click on that. I'm also just going to get rid of this extra tab so I don't get confused. And the same thing I did with Zillow, I'm going to go ahead and paste the address here and say Run. And this is just another helpful resource, and they came up with their number, which is 276. So again, not much difference from the list price, but I'll put it there. And again, you can use that. You don't need to. 276. I'll put it there. One other way that you can find resources, and this is Abe had pointed this out. So you can go back to the property details and go to value map. And if you want to use that number instead of the RPR, by all means, you can do that. Again, you're just trying to substantiate, does it make more sense to do due diligence on this property? And you want to get through this, usually in about a minute and a half, and you can do that. And you can see that it's coming at 2:30, and the thing that he liked about it, similar to Zillow, it comes up with the properties that are nearby. You can kind of look at it and hover over it. And so just another helpful resource. Very cool thing, by the way, is that you can take this link and you can share that link and no one needs to log in. So that's a neat aspect of value maps as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it with those properties. I want to go ahead and populate the address. I do that with the Control V. Now you may be wondering, well, how are you doing that? Remember, I copied it once and I pasted it to the Zillow, I pasted it to the RPR, and now I pasted it onto the address because I didn't copy anything else. It had always been in the computer's memory. Now if I want to put any notes here, if that's important and helpful for you to remember things, you can do that at this time. I might go short sale and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this is a short sale. And that's important for a number of different reasons. But we'll talk about that another time. And you can put any comments, like things that I've done is I've made offers on. I think as the last few days, we made about 5 or 6 offers on properties. And so I encourage you, if you want to put, made an offer, then I think it's nice to know that. Here's the average of the comps that have been done. And we're going to go ahead and put a suggested price here. And let's say I don't know the price, and this could just be a bait price or a price that they think it's going to work at 272. Then we'll say, yeah, I think I need to go at 272 to even get this property, and it's going to come back with at 272, it's at 47,000. That's probably too slim to make anything, even worthwhile to do this. And so maybe 272 isn't the right number, and originally they were at 230. So what if I could get this property, for example, at 230, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say, well, this is the suggest price at 230. And you go ahead and say, oh, that could be a good property if I got it at 230. And so that's how you fill out the sheet. On the date, you would just type the date, and you'd put your name, that you are the one that had entered this here. And if it's something that's usually above 80,000 or so, what we like to do is highlight it in yellow so it stands out. So something like this should be highlighted and say, hey, this could be a good candidate property. And some people have asked, well, why don't we put the list price? It's just a lot of data to enter already. And so if you don't know what suggested price, put the list price, and it's going to auto-calculate this. So if it's something that is 80,000 or more, maybe it's a good candidate property. In this case, I would not be interested in it just because of them raising their price. I'll go back to the 270. And although it could be a good deal for someone, it's probably not enough for myself or the investors that we're working with to consider for a flip. Again, this is something that you want to be able to do in about a minute and a half, and then from there you have your hit list of properties, and then you can start doing your due diligence, which is talking to the listing agent, formulating a plan, making an offer, and so forth. Okay, hope this was helpful to you, and if you have questions, come and see me.